Hey Bookends! Welcome to this week's 10-minute book review. I'm 10. So today's book review is going to be on what I feel like is the best book of 2019. You just started, but The Gilded Wolves. Now I don't want to say her name wrong. Roshani Chokshi by Roshani Chokshi. So if you're not familiar with our channel, how we like to start off with, what we like to start off with is a star grade or star point, like how out of 10 stars, how many stars this book get, and a rating, like if it was in the movies, what would it be rated? So for a star point, this is definitely a 10. This had really everything that I look for in science fiction. And in a good story base, just in a good story period. This had everything I look for in a good story. So this is a 10. For a rating, some of the subject matter would make it a PG-13, so to keep it on the safe side, I would say PG-13. I don't think anyone under the age of 13 would understand certain aspects of it. So starting off with the main players, there's Severin. He is the main protagonist. Now, I believe that he's half French and half Indian or Pakistani because his mother said that she was his Umi. And so I looked up Umi because she said, I'm your Umi and I love you. So I looked up Umi and it's mother or mommy in Urdu. Or yeah, in Urdu. Urdu. So I'm imagining that she's either Indian, and they said that she was brown. So I'm imagining that she's either Indian or Pakistani or someone from the Middle East. So he's half French, half Middle Eastern. Or either Middle Eastern, I should say. He's either half French and Middle Eastern, or he's either half French and Asian. Then we have Enrique, who is a historian. His historian. He is half Spanish, or at least a percentage Spanish, like from Spain, and also a percentage Filipino. We have Layla, who is Indian, all Indian, but living in France currently. Zofia, who is Jewish, currently living in France. And Tristan, who I believe is mixed race too. And a side, well, I want to say, I'm calling him a side player, but you know, we'll leave him out for the moment because these are the main players. Okay, so Severin, he, okay, you know what, let's start off, let me just build the world for you that you're going to be entering in. So in this world, there are people called forgers. They have these gifts that allow them to be able to forge elements. I would say kind of like alchemy, but they're not bringing anything out of the air. They're taking things that are already there and using them to create new things or design nicer things. And there's called this Order of Babel. Each member of the Order of Babel has their own house. And when I say house, like it's not like a man, well, they have their own mansion, but they basically have their own section. And they get their own rings to mark things that are theirs or to unmark things that they no longer want. So, Severin, his father was a member of the Order of Babel. He was technically a bastard, and he wasn't allowed to call his mother by her first name. I'm sorry, by her mommy. Like he wasn't able to say mama or mommy or anything like that, because you know his father didn't want any impropriety. But he loved his mother very much, and I believe his father loved her too. But, you know, impropriety. So, they're supposed to be like the 1800s, 1500s, something like that. No, because they mentioned Napoleon Bonaparte, and that was 1700 and something. So, I'm guessing this is the 1800s. And they mentioned about the Eiffel Tower being built. So, I'm guessing this is like 20th century. Yes, I think this is the 1800s. So yes, his father, Severin's father, was of the house of Vanth, and he was killed in a fire along with Severin's mother. I think it was murder. I can't prove it, so whatever. But yeah, so they were killed in a fire, and leaving Severon to be the next patriarch of the House of Vanth, but that was stolen away from him from people who he considered to be family. So, moving forward, he has grown up to become a high-class thief who calls his theft acquisitions. He's not stealing, he's just acquiring. He started out acquiring things that came from his house that were taken away from his house because, you know, he was considered just an orphan child. So, like, we're not giving you anything. He had his father's inheritance, but he wouldn't get that until he turned 18. So, like, screw you, kid, it's ours now. So he started off acquiring that first. He meets Tristan when he's a little boy in one of the foster homes that he and Tristan are in. Now, this is just my idea. I don't know if this is the case. I couldn't get a firm bead on what I was reading. The foster father that he met Tristan with, which is his first one, I think that he might have been molesting them sexually. I know that he was beating them, but I think he might have been molesting them sexually, and I think Severin protected Tristan from it as much as he could. Could be wrong though. If someone else has read the book and they've got a different vibe from it, let me know. But yes, he does acquisitions for a living. He hires on Enrique, who's a historian, a guy who knows a lot about history. And also he hires on Zofia, who is a forger, like she's into like explosives, metals, things like that. And also Tristan's a forger too. He's able to forge things from plant life and some liquid metals, or liquids in some metals. Layla, she is a talented dancer. She has the alias of L'Enigma when she's dancing at the cabaret, but when she's not dancing at the cabaret, she's just Layla. She's really sweet. She has like this crazy backstory though. Crazy backstory. You know, I'm gonna tell you the backstory because I don't think it ruins the story, the main story in any way. So in India, they have forgers who, like, if there's a little bit of soul left within you, they can forge you into a new body. So she was born as a stillborn, and so her parents hurried up and got her to one of these forgers in India because they lived in India. So they got her to the person, and they forged her body with a bird and something else. And so she survived, but she ended up with this long scar, like a seam down her back. And rumor has it that she's not going to live past 19, so she needs to find the book that the forger who made her basically read from, so she can find out how she can keep herself alive, if there is a way to keep herself alive. Zofia, she has kind of a bad, well, okay, so Zofia's Jewish, right? So this is all a fantasy kind of a world, but it's steeped in reality. So she's going to school in Paris for like esteemed mathematics and mathematicians and scientists, things of that nature. She got in fair and square. And they don't like Jews there. And something interesting that I like about Zofia's character is that she's autistic, or at least she's written to sound as though she's autistic. So I have a love-hate relationship when it comes to autistic characters in books, because my son happens to be autistic. And a lot of things said about autistic people, they don't feel, they don't look at you, they don't like people, they want to stay in their own world. A lot of that is simply not true. It's just they don't want to stay in their own world. They just don't have all the keys to get out of their world. And so the more keys you give them, the more out of their world they come. Because they do want to talk to people, they just don't know how to sometimes. So with Zofia, I loved that the author made her a real person. Like, Zofia had feelings. Like, you know, sometimes, if you ever read the book series Gone, the Gone book series, it's like a horror YA book series. The boy in that who had autism, he was written out like he had no feelings. Like, oh, my sister's hair is too bright, so I can't stare at her. And I only like my Pokemon game. And there was no, like, love or anything to him. He was just kind of written to be like this unfeeling, flinching character. Zofia was written in a way that, you know, I actually see autistic kids because my son's around them because he's autistic too. Like, she's incredibly smart because she likes to fixate on mathematical things. She has feelings. She cried when she lied to her sister because she felt bad about lying to her sister. You know, she has friendships. She has the want to be around people. She doesn't always understand jokes because she thinks in a literal way, as a lot of people with autism do think in a literal way. You can't, you know, like my baby, for instance, when I would say, oh, the cat's out of the bag, like, you know, the news is out, he'd be like, what cat? Who put a cat in a bag? Why would they do that? And that's how Sophia is too. When Enrique, because he's very educated, when he goes to make one of his educated jokes, and she's like, well, that doesn't make any sense because that would never happen. So I love Sophia. I love Sophia. But yeah, she's Jewish, and so she goes into this school for incredibly intelligent people. The kids start making fun of her, not because of her autism, because I don't think they had a word for autism in that, you know, back in that time, but because she's a Jew, and they just push her and push her and push her, and an explosion happens, and so she's arrested, and Severon ends up breaking her out of prison so she can come to work for him. And then, you know, once she's done working for him, she can afford to pay for her sister to go to medical school. So, you know, she comes from a smart family. So, yes. And what does Severon want? He has money. He has all of his family's artifacts back. He even has his own hotel, Le Eden. El Eden. Basically, L and then Eden. So, yes. He wants his house ring back. He wants the house of Vanth to be acknowledged as a part of the Order of Babel again. So let me just find the parts that I liked. While I'm looking for some of the parts that I liked, so full disclosure, I have dyscalculia, formerly known as dysnumbria. So just like someone with dyslexia, how they have a hard time reading books, not because they're not able to read books, but because the words jumble. Well, for me, the numbers jumble. So when a book mentions math too much, and starts giving the figures of the math too much, I am completely thrown off, and I'm kind of put off. Because it's like, you know, I can't do this. I'm gonna try, but I don't like it. So I wasn't thrown off by this. So if someone is watching this, I know there's not, well, there probably is a lot of us out there, but it's kind of embarrassing to say for some people. It's like, I don't have a problem, you have a problem. But yeah, if you heard about this book and someone's told you there's a lot of math in it, it's perfectly cool. The math is spoken about and explained, but if you don't get it, you can still move past it and not be annoyed by it. Like, the numbers aren't crazy. Mostly it's just 1 and 0, so you can move by it pretty quick. So yes, they're looking for a map to help them find the lost treasure of the fallen house, and I think it's inside of a compass that's been sold to the to Hypnos, who's the head of another house, who's around the same age as Severon. They used to play together. They know each other. Now Hypnos sound kind of cute. So he's like dark skinned and he has like curly hair. I think he had it straight or something. But yeah, he's dark skinned. He's kind of cute. He has like pale blue eyes. I think he's bi. I think he's either bi or I don't know. I think Enrique is bi too. I don't know. Anyway, but yes, it's sold to Hypno, and Severon, what he does is he has Layla forge a counterfeit version of the compass, and he and Enrique go to steal the real compass and leave the forged compass. And of course they do find the map, but the mystery goes away from the fallen house treasures to finding a Babel fragment which is supposed to be able to control a lot of things. It could bring the order down. So Hypnos says, listen, I won't dime you out for stealing from me, but you got to do something for me in return. First of all, I want my compass back. Second of all, I want you to steal something for me, and that's the Horus Eye, which is located in the House of Kor. Now, Severon doesn't want to go to the House of Kor because he used to be close with the woman there. She was called his aunt. And, tante, I guess that's aunt in French. And she basically screwed him over, and it's like, I know that you're the next heir to your house, but we can't have two half-breeds. So, we already had that one half-breed Hypnos, so we can't have two half-breeds Severon. So, bye. Yes. So he's like, I don't want to go there. He told Tristan about it. Tristan's like, bruh, I don't want to go there either, because like him and Tristan are like brothers. Layla doesn't think it's a good idea either. So him and Layla, I wouldn't consider them lovers because they only had sex once. And they're like, we can't do this again because I had too many feelings for you and I can't afford those. Both of them were basically saying they can't afford to keep having feelings for each other. Right? So let's move through the book. This is spoiler free, so you're not going to find any spoilers in this because I want you to be able to enjoy it. So they take the job from Hypnos. They agree to acquire the Horus Eye from the House of Kor, and basically this is just a fun ride. So if you think about Ocean 11, if you think about the team from Inception, this is basically just a buddy heist kind of a book set in a very immersive world. It's wonderful. In my mind, this is just my mind, I feel like the world of the Gilded Wolves and the world of Caraval are the same world. Like Caraval is taking place in the Spain/Italian islands. And this is taking place in Paris. So in my world, in my mind, the master of Caraval is not anything magical. He is just a forger. He's a forger of illusions, like Hypnosis. So he can create illusions, very in-depth illusions. Now this is just my mind. But I really do feel like they exist in the same world. I really do feel like they exist in the same world. So this book was awesome. I would love to see this book as a movie. Of course, my opinion is just my opinion. If you liked this review, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget to check out our Blackathon review video, which will be out on Wednesday for Binti and Binti 2. And for any 10-minute check-ins we do in between. Bye, Bookends!